Should we talk about Gary Neville? He's been talking about Cristiano Ronaldo. He said, I don't think there's any doubt Cristiano needs, wants and has to play. Otherwise, he's not going to be happy and he's not going to accept it. Seeing him on the bench is almost like a magnet for trouble for the club he's playing for, because the focus becomes the player who's not on the pitch rather than the players who are playing. It goes on and on and on. What's going to happen with Cristiano? I know he's been training with Real Madrid, but that's, of course, the president helping him out. Yeah. What's going to happen with him?
I mean, I've no idea, Stinks. Honestly, I know that's not the answer you want to hear.
No, should we just move on then?
Well, I've got no idea, because there's so many different conundrums, right? So his wages, clear. There's only probably a handful of clubs in the world that can afford him, right? Mm-hmm. He ain't going to go to PSG. He ain't going to City. Ain't going back to United. Ain't going to Chelsea. Ain't going back to Real Madrid. Have I missed anyone out? Barcelona.
We ain't going to go there,
right? So. Who else? Okay, the only option is, but he wants to play Champions League, right?
Yeah, so the only option will be to go to Saudi Arabia or China or
he accepts
America.
Lower wages.
Yeah.
So he wants to win the Champions League. But then comes the problem. So chances are, if he's going to accept lower wages, he's going to play for a team where you would have thought he would start, because the quality they'll have up front. But Gary Neville's almost. I mean, that's not an endorsement. That anyone reading that's going, otherwise he's not going to play. He's not going to be happy. They're going, oh God, he's not going to be happy. Why would you sign him? You've seen what he kicked off at United. See how he kicked off at Portugal. I've said before, I've got a lot of sympathy for Cristiano Ronaldo. He's clearly someone who hasn't and can't accept that the hands of time are ticking against him, and he doesn't see himself as the player other people do. He still sees himself as that unique player that can go and play 90 minutes, affect and win games, and still be one of the best players in the world. Other people don't see that in him anymore. And he's finding it very difficult to accept and come to terms with the fact that his career is in the twilight. He still sees himself as Peter Pan, doesn't he? Or as I said before, Superman that hasn't got his cape.
I just don't know how it's going to play out. He wants to play football, right? The football season returns in a few weeks' time anyway. Is it next weekend?
Well, it's next week.
Yeah.
The Carabao Cup is next week.
Yeah, you're right. So football returns in this country. Yeah. Football returns to the rest of Europe as well very soon.
A little bit later. I think some countries a little bit later in January.
Yeah.
I think so.
But either way, it's soon.
Yep.
And he'll want to be playing football. Yep. There's no way he can afford to not play football again this season. He can't wait till the summer to find a club, right?
No, he'll find a club. There'll be someone. There's a suitor out there.
Do you think so?
There will be someone that will be prepared to take him on.
It won't be, as you would say, a big head. It won't be a top club.
It depends what wages he's prepared to. I think there has to be something admired about, even though a lot of people don't see it that way, you've got to admire that he does not accept second best, even for himself. He won't. He refuses. And it's become a bit of a problem. But in the past, it was seen as and it still is, a great attribute to have, that you just want to be at the very top, play every single game at the very highest level. That is he is one of the most driven sportsmen this world's ever seen, right? One of the most driven. And now that drive is still there. It beats. The heart still beats, but the body can't carry it. And that's the problem he's now found himself in, that other people make decisions on his career. It's not like tennis or golf where you get knocked out or you don't make the cut. In football, someone else makes that decision for you, the manager or maybe the club. I do have a lot of sympathy for him.
You had Broger's got that awful injury, right?
Yes.
Is it the cruciate ligament?
He's out for the season.
That means you only got Aubameyang up top.
Yes.
And he's not been smashing
he's not been great.
Would you take for the rest of the season? You wouldn't take Ronaldo? Do you think Todd Bowley would? Because he likes a superstar name.
I think he'd be tempted. I think he would be tempted, yes, I do.
Do you think it'll be a problem for Graham Potter?
I mean, you've got to work with what you've got. I mean,
I know, but we've seen it before, right? We've seen it at Manchester United.
But can you imagine having Aubameyang and Ronaldo in the same team? I mean, only one's going to play, right?
Yeah.
Well, you're going to have one. You almost like you're solving a problem at Chelsea, but you're creating another one. I mean, look, if he turned up at Chelsea, it would not, after what I know, because Bowley wanted him in the summer, and Tuchel didn't, and Tuchel said no. I don't know whether Potter's got that clout, whether he says, listen, Ronaldo's coming, right? So get on
but we saw that with Solskjaer, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, Solskjaer played him, so there was no problem.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is Solskjaer was put in that difficult position.
Yeah.
Of having to have him at the club where perhaps he didn't want him.
Who knows for that private conversation. But he's available. He is still of a level
I don't know if he is anymore.
Well, he's still of a level.
You saw when you take him out of the Portugal side.
No, you're right. But he's still of a level. I wouldn't say he's of the highest calibre right now, but he still sees himself that way.
We're not going to take calls on my next question because I'm just curious. Yeah. What was your view on who the GOAT was before the World Cup and what is it now?
It's not changed, Messi.
It's always Messi.
It's not, look,
but do you think the gap between them is bigger now because of what's happened to Ronaldo on and off the field? I'm talking about his interview with Piers Morgan, and also he's had a bad World Cup and Messi's had a great World Cup.
That shouldn't cloud it.
No, but does it?
I've always considered Messi the most naturally gifted footballer I've ever seen. Him and Maradona. I mean, I was lucky enough to see Maradona play on TV. Not some people aren't old enough, but I unfortunately I am. We're lucky to have the fact that Ronaldo and Messi have been in the same era at the same time. I don't think either of them would have been as good if one of them wasn't there. I think they pushed and driven. I think they've just pushed one another. I think that I remember doing shows with you on the Sports Bar season after season where Messi would score a wonderful free kick on the Tuesday, and the following night Ronaldo would do exactly the same. Go fast forward 3 weeks. Ronaldo scored a hat-trick on the Tuesday. The following Wednesday, Messi would score a hat-trick in the Champions League. And then they played in the same league as one another. They pushed one another to strive. They had to be better than him, and they kept doing it. And I think that we are very, very lucky. We won't know how lucky and privileged we are until we look back in 10 years' time and these two have retired, and there may well be an Mbappe, and he might be out on his own. It might be like when Maradona was around. We have watched and witnessed two of the greatest players ever at the same time go toe-to-toe almost every single week, every single month in the World in the World Cup, in the European Championship, or not European Championship, but in the European Cup, and they push one another to heights that we might never see again. Not in our lifetime, anyway.
It's a great answer.